All right, almost on the home stretch. This should be a fairly quick video on creating a corridor surface. So you can see in a new file, and we want to turn this corridor from this massive object with a bunch of different information into a surface. That way we can get all of the elevation data easily and combine it with other surfaces. This is especially helpful um, for things that surfaces are really good at, um, which is primarily elevation data. So making profiles quickly, things like that. Really good to have a surface for it. So from here, we are going to click on your corridor, and we should be able to create a corridor surface. I'm just checking that my parameters look good. And in the surfaces tab here, this is where we can actually create our surface. So I'm going to click on this button on the very left to create the surface. Change the contour style to 1 in 10, or 1 in 5, sorry, background. Again, we can always change that. Render by layer. And here we're going to add a top code to the surface. So the top code is here. And we're going to add that to the surface. That just shows, it just tells it what part of the corridor to actually use to render the surface. Because there's all these different layers it can use. So it's going to use the top of the corridor to make the surface. We also want there to be boundaries. So if we go to the boundaries tab and right click this, we can do corridor extents as outer boundary. So do that. You can see it's called a corridor shrink wrap. The idea there is, if you remember how Civil 3D surfaces work, is it creates triangles between points. And if you have part of your corridor here and part of your corridor here, and you have a point here and a point there, well, Civil 3D is going to try to connect those with a line. And so it's going to make a surface here when that's outside of our corridor region. So adding this boundary basically shrink wraps it so it fits our corridor boundary and the surface doesn't extend past it, which is what we want. Now that we've done that, we can actually build it. So I'm going to click apply, rebuild, and OK. You might not really see it at first, but if I hit escape, you can see all of those corridor lines there, or surface contours, sorry, surface contours. And if I actually select the object and then view it in the model viewer, you can see what that looks like. So you can see this doesn't have all of those like layer styles in it, but it does have all of the elevation data, which is helpful whenever you need it. It might be easier to see it as just a shaded blob like this, right? You can see that all here. Next, we're actually going to, funnily enough, go to the surface properties and just turn off the display of the surface because I'd rather see the corridor than the corridor surface. While the surface is there, one of the main reasons why the surface would be helpful is if you're doing any kind of water analysis, you need one continuous surface to do that on. So you need this corridor surface so you can combine it with your ground surface. And we'll go over that in the next video. And that way you could perform water analysis on your roadway, which is an important step to do, just not one that we will be doing for the purposes of this project.